you reach some big conclusions based on failures of prior BBAs and what might work. And so, what are some of the bigger lessons that you applied here?
The most important one is that if you have provisions in your BBA proposal that one side or the other really doesn't like, then you're dead in the water because it takes two-thirds of both houses of Congress and three-fourths of state legislatures to pass and then ratify a constitutional amendment. So you just have to focus on the basics and do them in a way that makes sense. We already talked about how annual balance doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And so you want to balance over the medium term or the business cycle. Budget wonks call it structural balance. And that's exactly what Switzerland and Sweden and lots of other places that do it well do. Another thing is you need a reasonable period of time to get to balance. I think a decade is probably the best that we can do. And then the question is, what kind of balance? Is it primary balance where you don't count interest costs, or is it full balance where you do count interest costs? It's a question of feasibility versus effect. I mean, primary balance would stabilize the debt burden for a while, but then we'd probably have to go to primary surpluses in order to really get the debt burden down into the safety zone. And then there's a question about, emergency relief. We have emergencies; they come up from time to time: recessions, wars, lots of things, pandemics. And when you look at the history, you see that by and large, those have all passed Congress with two-thirds or far above two-thirds supermajorities, except when congressional leadership decided that they wanted to maximize benefits to constituencies rather than focusing strictly on the emergencies. And two-thirds is also the highest threshold in the Constitution for extraordinary legislative actions. So that made a lot of sense. You don't want to have like differing emergency thresholds. Some of them would actually encourage military conflict for the purpose of fiscal unrestraint. And
This declare a war because you haven't been able to balance your budget. So
Right. And then the other thing, which probably is more interesting to people these days, is that most BBAs would put the president's budget request in the Constitution. It's already required by statute. I don't think we want to mess with the balance of powers any more than they've already been messed with right now. So that's another one that's kind of a sleeper issue. But to me, I think it matters a lot.